who was Maria Bjornson's original assistant on the Phantom of the Opera when it started up in the United States. After Maria's rather early and tragic death in December of '03, Sam has been the keeper of the costumes for all the companies of the Phantom of the Opera. Whenever we need something, we go to Sam. She has quite the warehouse in New York City. And I'd like to take this opportunity now to present Sam Fleming.
The reason I'm wearing my hard hat is because when I first entered this building, there was no other way I could get in. So with the first, I think, almost 2 weeks while we were here working on the show, getting the show ready to go, we all had happy. So needless to say, I was in Las Vegas, and I was not going to wear it like I created. So anyway, so this is my original hard hat from 2006, which I don't get to take off. But I thought I should wear it. Anyway. First things first, I have some names here of people that I'm going to send away. And I'm truly sorry, but I cannot do this for every single one of you in the audience today. And originally I was going to try to do it so completely random that you could even pick your character, but we just, obviously I couldn't bring the entire warehouse in New York, and we just didn't have those kind of resources. So we did have to limit it to people that we thought would fit in costumes that we actually got. So I need Jason Hammond to go over here to the stairs, and I need, I should have my fingers on to do this. Ashley Yarborough. That's Yarborough. Okay, yeah, we got our, we have our victims. Have fun, guys.
Take one last look at them.
Yeah, they're not going to like this when they come back. Bye. This is sort of like being an over, but not.
They have been since we've been.
Anyway, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about who I am that Mark didn't tell you. Actually, I've been on the show since 1989, not since '88. I missed the great onslaught of 1988, but I came on in '89. So I have supervised every show since Los Angeles won in 1989. And I'm one of those people, and there are hundreds of us actually, people that no one actually sees. You guys are seeing me today, but this is kind of very rare, because I don't do the Phantom Fan weekends in New York or anything. But unfortunately, we're the ones who have an enormous impact on what you actually see when you come to see the show. Like, we have all of the impact. We completely control what you see. So the other people you'll see this weekend, Paul, he'll talk about scenery and props and stuff like that. This is what we do. We're completely invisible and in the dark, but we're the ones who let you guys see the magic. Okay, are we ready to go? My lovely assistant here. Just for y'all, I had to learn PowerPoint.
Nice.
Okay, there we go. First thing we have to talk about when putting a show together is this big is logistics. Because it takes us at least 6 months to do a brand new show from start to finish, or as we call it, from the skin out. It takes at least 6 months, which means I have to have a cast. We opened in June of 2006, and I was begging management to have a cast by Thanksgiving of the previous year so that I could get all the measurements done in December. We almost made it. Almost. Anyway, what we have in this show today is 34 actors and dancers, 4 swings in addition to that, 3 stuntmen, no stunt ladies, but just stuntmen. We have 3 conductors who also wear costumes, like who are where Jake is standing right now. We have 12 stagehands in our costume. You might not necessarily see a lot of them, but they are there, believe me. Which is a total of 229 that are worn by people. As I'm sure that you will have noticed, we have a lot of not quite people wearing a lot of costumes as well. Now, each one of those costumes usually has 3 fittings. One where we do measurements, and we'll talk about that fitting. The next one's in muslin. We'll see a lot of muslin fitting pictures. And then when we have a real fabric fitting, and sometimes there's even a 4th. But generally speaking, at 45 minutes per costume, that's a lot of fitting time. 500 hours. And me standing in the fitting room, and the actors standing there. I know we have some of our cast here. But it's a lot of time of people making decisions and getting it right, because the actual second fitting wasn't fitting is where you really have to get it right or you have it doesn't even include the understudy costumes, of which there are hundreds, or any of the costumes worn by the mannequins in Masquerade or the ones that you see here. So there's almost close to 500 costumes in the show, just not all of them working people on the stage at one given performance. But in any given performance, over 200. These are the different, we have a lot of different artisans who actually make these things. I don't do it myself with my own two hands, obviously I couldn't spend the time. We have dressmakers. Can you guys see through me? No, you can't. We have dressmakers. We have glove tailors, people who only do specialty stuff. People make our shoes from scratch, our hats from scratch, the gloves are made from scratch. We have, you can read this list, right? People who make wigs. We have custom knitters, people who make jewelry just for us. And then we have people who custom make all the mannequins. We have a guy who makes all of our masks. And so that's a total, because I called all these people up and said, how many people did you have on staff when we did FAM in June 2006? 173 just in the USA, of the people that took to put on this stage and show that you either saw last night or see tonight. And then we have a whole bunch more in the UK, but we'll get to them. Dressmakers, I'm just going to put the names up there just so you guys can see them. As you can see, we have a lot of people in every category. Okay, next. People who do the mannequins and all the costumes on the mannequins that you see on the stairs in Masquerade. Those particular mannequins are not original to the US. They actually were made in London. They were in a show in Toronto that they went on tour in Canada, that they went to Mexico, and they finally ended up here. And then we had to completely refurbish them and readjust them for this production. And now all that work was done by Imagination and Las Vegas Costumes here in Las Vegas. There's more artisans, more milliners, more the heads and the feet. Those are the things that kill you. I guess glovers and knitters. So there's all my people. So for 6 months, I talk to those people almost daily. Okay, so we're going to look at all the principal costumes first, then the featured people, the people that have names in the show that are in the show for a certain time. Then we're going to go through the major production numbers. Look at some of the other things like all of our mysterious stagehands and, as I call them, the eternal audience. These are really called the OGs, which is sort of a little pun on the show because, of course, the fan calls himself OG, but they're called the opera covers. So they're called the OGs. Okay. Here we are. There's Maria Bjornsson's original sketch for the Phantom suit, which I bet a lot of you have never seen. So I thought I would show some of her sketches today. The thing about what we have, we call off the page and onto the stage process, which means we have to take that sketch and get it ready for a fitting, which means I have to have measurements on the actors. So I collected all the actors. We did 3 measurement sessions. We did one in New York, one in Las Vegas, and one in LA, where I managed to somehow get all these actors in one place. And we did head wraps on them for their wigs. We fitted shoes on them, and took their basic measurements so that we could be ready to do their second fitting, which is the muslin. So just getting the actors, getting all that stuff sorted out was a major undertaking in itself. Okay, so next one. So there's Anthony in his muslin suit for the fitting. That's his first fitting. The reason we do a muslin is the fabric that the Phantom suit is made out of is unbelievably expensive. It's actually silk, it's not wool. And the tailors hate making suits out of it, but tough luck. But you have to get it right, which is why we actually do a muslin fitting, because you don't want to cut into that really expensive silk until you know that you've got every seam where you want it, exactly where the vest is, what's fitting the trousers to be correct. And even then, once you translate it into real fabric, there's still a lot of tweaking